First of all, what's going on here in the UK? What do you make of some of this, I don't know if you call it lawfare surrounding freedom of speech or what's being spoken online and how that looks from the US, I'm curious. And then of course, I kind of want to get your take on monkeypox, WHO trying to flex a little bit more, and Tedros. Like I said, I do have, the guy here to ask about that. So what are your thoughts on both of those? You said to open this call up that I won't be seeing you here anymore, which actually makes me bummed out because we've had two epic conversations here live in studio, and you were coming along a lot, supporting, Andrew Brigden at the time.
You've got a great studio. You've got a great studio, a great crew.
But you won't really come here. Thank you. But you won't come here, right?
I after these threats to extradite people for speech online, that crossed a line for me. And the grabbing of the founder of Telegraph.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, in France, yeah.
On the tarmac. I already kind of crossed this line with Brazil. I've refused to go to Brazil for a couple of conferences. I'm going to be zooming in on one coming up. And now I've pretty much crossed that line with Canada. And I said no to a conference in British Columbia already.
Wow.
And people there's talk about a CPAC Canada, et cetera. I was glad to go to Mexico City. I would far rather go to Mexico City any day than go to Toronto.
Isn't that crazy? If you would have said that 3 years ago to yourself, you would have thought, what, is there some weird future where it's safer to go to Mexico City than Canada? And then the future you would have said, yeah, Robert, there is. And so now you'd rather go to Mexico City than London, Paris, or Toronto.
And Germany. Germany is also, and that's a whole nother thread. What the hell has Germany done to itself and its industrial base? Who would imagine it? But it is, as Jill and I talk about this all the time, the Germans never stopped being socialists. They stopped being Nazis. They didn't stop being socialists. And the WEF, jumping ahead, stakeholder capitalism is built on the German industrial model. That's what it is. It is a global attempt to apply the German industrial model by a German, Klaus Schwab, right, who takes credit for basically just building a graphic that summarized the German industrial model of partnership between government, industry, and workers, and in being committed to advancing worker causes. Another stunning moment. Starmer gets in, and he has some kind of conscientious objectors that are on the wave election within Parliament that raise some questions about some activities. He boots them out of the party immediately because he's got so much headroom in terms of the MPs that he's got that he doesn't need them. He could just toss them out and go to the back bench and rot in hell. Go Andrew Bridgen.
Yeah.
And then these protests and heavy-handed doesn't even say it. The reaction, you couldn't. I couldn't imagine, even knowing Starmer is WEF, and is just kind of another flavor of Rishi. The willingness to deploy this in the UK, this heavy-handed administrative state control of information and dialogue, in the appearance of bias against the, how do I say it, native British population, and the evidence that Britain is being eaten within by this immigrant population, particularly Muslims, is, can I say that? Probably not.
Probably not.
Having said it, I put myself at risk for being snatched if I drop into Heathrow in transit.
Do you
and
think
have
that
little
could be a
labor.
possibility, Robert? If you went to Canada or France or the UK, do you think they could put you in jail and you might spend time there?
I can't rule anything out now. And what exists, just because they haven't done it now doesn't mean that suddenly, for some political opportunity, it wouldn't be deployed. That's the risk, is not that it's a present danger, but rather that it's an undefined future danger that can't be quantified. It's arbitrary. It's capricious. That's where we're in an environment where these political actors are truly arbitrary and capricious, and seem to have no qualms, no restrictions, no ethical boundaries, no boundaries associated with past precedent and historic precedent. The commitment, the Magna Carta. Come on, guys. If you want a case study, look at what's happened in Brazil. You think it couldn't happen here? Or the conspiracy theory version is, well, they're just piloting it in Brazil and getting ready to deploy it. And when you look at what happened in Canada, with the truckers and the demonetization, et cetera, it's hard to argue against the thesis that there are a portfolio of strategies that have been identified and worked up that are available, particularly for these that have come out of the World Economic Forum indoctrination program called the Young Leaders Training Program, that they can decide that they're going to select this strategy now and deploy it, first in New Zealand or Australia or the UK or Canada or Brazil, or they have all these options, and they can deploy it in a limited fashion, see how it floats, and then modify the position, adapt to it, and then deploy it more broadly. And the irony here, to me, and it really hit home with this recent round of essays relating to the decimation of German industry in the context of electric vehicles. Volkswagen being the largest employer in Germany. That was new to me. And they're being undermined. They're being decimated by the Chinese, who are basically acting as more aggressively unrestricted capitalists than the Germans are. What's the word? Schadenfreude? I think the whole thing just boggles my mind. You watch it play out, and you think it can't get more egregious, and then is there a bona fide risk? What my understanding is, Starmer has, there was some really strong statements by some members of British, what do you call them? Paramilitary forces, or do you call them police? That they would potentially extradite. There was one in particular that went viral on the web.
Yeah.
And then I hear that there was kind of an oh shit moment, and they backed off from that. Just like when Trudeau and his, I'm blanking on her name, Minister of Finance, who, previously her qualifications was she was a journalist, but she's another graduate of the WEF. When they deployed that demonetization strategy on the truckers, and suddenly the world, in particular the Asian money that had sought refuge in from Hong Kong into British Columbia and the Canadian banking system, suddenly they had kind of a come to Jesus moment. Maybe they're not so safe, okay? And they started pulling funds out of Canada, and suddenly the Canadian government was like, uh-oh, what have we done? And maybe we got to dial back here a little bit and think it through again. I think that's that must be going on in Starmer's administration right now of did we reach too far and what are the implications? And frankly, Brian, that's part of why I made such a fuss about not wanting to drop into Heathrow, is I wanted to signal, clear as I possibly could from my tiny little niche in the world, you guys are playing with fire because tourism is an important industry to you. And you're right on the threshold, if you haven't already crossed it, to significantly compromising your tourism industry.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.